What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I just watched the 7th episode of this season of Teen Mom OG, so let's chat. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on a single video. The episode actually kicks off with Farrah prefacing her storyline for the entire episode, which was the fact that her trip, you remember she was doing a dating show with MTV, it opened her eyes up to, oh my God, I hope you can't see my sleeve is all ripped up. It opened up her eyes to the fact that she needs to repair her relationship with her mother, Deborah. And then we move on over to Ryan, who still hasn't responded to Maci's drug test text, and his parents actually sit down and talk to a producer about how they feel like they're left in the dark about the whole entire situation going on with custody of Bentley, right? They're like, Maci hasn't told us anything about what's going on, but if I recall, Maci said in the first couple of episodes of this season that it was his family who left her completely in the dark about his stint in rehab. They never told her what facility he went to, when he was leaving, when he got out, anything of the sort. So why they're playing victim all of a sudden is beyond me. They contributed to the lack of communication in this relationship. And so Jen tearfully says that she would actually even be happy to just have Bentley over at the house, even if Ryan wasn't able to see him. She was like, you know what? Bentley has been seeing us every weekend for practically forever, and it's him that's suffering at the very end of all of this. Larry jumps onto the topic and says that Ryan's putting his life together, so why the hell will Maci not allow any visits? And then Jen, being the voice of reason in this scene, thankfully says, you know what, yeah, Ryan is trying to get his life back together, but you do have to think about it from Maci's perspective. She's scared, about what could happen. We're all scared. Next up, we're over in Indiana, where Amber's cousin Liz comes over, and Amber reveals that she's still thinking of getting back together with her ex-moocher geriatric fiance Matt because he apologized for the way he treated her. And in their conversation, I saw that someone sent a picture of, an engagement ring on Amber's finger and wondered what the heck was going on there. According to Amber, Matt checked into some sort of therapy class for his, boatload of issues and asked her to come down to Las Vegas to see him, and she is thinking of going down there. And she also lets it slip that she hasn't seen Leah in God knows how long. It's literally been so long since she's seen her one and only child that she just can't even remember the last time she saw her. And yet again, this is Amber jumping through hoops, going anywhere to be with this absolute deadbeat piece of shit loser and leaving her own child in the dust. She just got back from a trip for marriage boot camp with Matt. Remember, Leah was really talking about missing her. The episode prior to that, Leah asked Amber to walk her down to the bathroom because that's how little she sees her mom, and she wants to be with her mom 24/7 on the rare occasions that she sees her. So, Amber, the fact that you will follow this loser grandpa of yours any which way but your own child can't even get a text back is just tragic, and you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Apparently, it's been 2 whole years since Catelynn and Tyler saw Carly, and that the last time they saw her was actually at their wedding, which I'm not surprised about because remember, Tyler's dad, Butch, who Brandon and Theresa explicitly asked not to contact Carly in any which way if he ever came across her, don't approach her, nothing, just went on up to her because, I'm the grandpa, that's my granddaughter, that's my blood running through her veins. And then, Catelynn and Tyler had a lot of, pretty nasty things to say about themselves as well since that visit. According to the couple, Brandon and Theresa gave them a date to see Carly that would actually interrupt their vacation. And they do say that they're willing to cancel their vacation, but wonder why things have to be so complicated. And Catelynn actually breaks down crying, saying, I just don't understand why it has to be so complicated. I'm not trying to make it complicated at all. She actually reveals that Brandon and Theresa ignore an awful lot of her texts, and the adoption counselor that kind of, misled them, I would like to say, about, the way adoption works. Dawn was actually there with her. I should have told you guys that earlier. And she says that the reason things are getting more complicated in regards to visiting Carly is because she's getting older and more cognizant and starting to, be able to articulate her confusion about these people that she sees every so often, one of whom tries to coach her into calling him daddy or whatever, as she gets older, she starts to wonder, what do you mean I have birth parents? These aren't my parents. What are birth parents? What are adoptive parents? Why am I adoptive? is anyone else adopted in this world? Am I the only one? Like, she does have a lot of concerns that can pop up, and I totally understand that. Unfortunately though, Catelynn was being a little bit obtuse about the whole thing. She said that, you know what, we're all dealing with this. Nobody's dealing with it. Tyler, I'm dealing with it. But you know what? No one is dealing with this the same way that Carly deals with it. Like, you can't compare Nova and Carly's experiences because Nova lives with her biological parents. You know, she has a relationship with her biological extended relatives, you know, her parents, friends and stuff. Like, she is, you know, part of the family she was born into, whereas Carly has to really start to understand herself as an adoptive daughter. And, you know, it really makes you question your relationship with your adoptive parents, with your birth parents, with everyone around you. The two experiences cannot be compared whatsoever, and I just could not stand the false equivalency she was trying to draw there. It was a painful scene though, to watch them so heartbroken over what they thought adoption was going to be, but at the same time, I do understand Brandon and Theresa's perspectives as well. This is gonna be more and more difficult for Carly as the years go by, and at a certain point, they gotta decide whether or not they want to close that adoption for that very reason. In the next scene over, Farrah asks her daughter Sophia if they can bring Deborah on their Italy trip, and Sophia morbidly asks, what if she's bad again? And decides she doesn't want Deborah to come. So clearly, Sophia is privy to way too much information about the dysfunctional dynamics within this family. I just don't like the way Farrah inserted her into that sort of decision making. You are the parent and you want to mend relationships in your family, so it's your job to do that. Your child does not have a say in that sort of thing, especially considering the whole rift was between Farrah and her mom, not between Sophia and Deborah. Sophia is only feeling this kind of way about Deborah because her mom Farrah has got a big mouth and doesn't know how to keep her child out of grown folks' business. Meanwhile, in Tennessee, where you're the only 10 I see, Mackenzie reveals that she wants to get a new wedding dress for the upcoming new wedding that she's gonna have to her already husband, Ryan, because the old dress carries too many bad memories. Let's think about all the bad memories. I'm pretty sure it's because the old dress represents the literal fact that Mackenzie is a predator who knowingly married Ryan high out of his goddamn mind. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. And she asked Ryan whether or not he wants to come down and, you know, check out the dress with her that she's chosen out. And he could not be any more disinterested if he tried. Ryan then kind of reveals that the reason he hasn't texted Maci back or anything is because when he did his follicle test the other episode, the results came back to him that there still was heroin in his system. Remember, apparently this drug stays in your system for a long time, over 100 days. Holy cow. And so he's just like, you know what, like, I can't do a hair follicle exam. Like, there's got to be some other way that I can see Bentley. And so then we're transported over to wherever Mackenzie went to pick up her, second wedding dress. And we're greeted by her friend. I don't know what's in the water in Mackenzie's neck of the woods, because her friend also looks about 35 years old, but is probably the same age as her. Like, I literally almost thought the show accidentally switched over into Sister Wives or something like that, because these women look too damn old to be on Teen Mom OG. In the confidence of her friend, Mackenzie cries about how hard things have been and how she's with Ryan for life, and her fears about Maci not letting Bentley come to their wedding. First of all, Mackenzie, how hard what has been? Like worrying about whether or not your husband that you managed to lure into marrying you while he was high out of his mind is going to leave you now that he's sobered up and seen what he kind of hitched his wagon to unwittingly, I should say. Like, I'm pretty sure that's probably her biggest stressor, much bigger than whether or not Bentley is going to be able to come to the wedding. If my scam was about to blow up in my face, I would be stressed and crying in a hotel too. Meanwhile, in Indiana, Gary and Christina talk about inviting Amber to Leah's first day of school and how sad it is that Amber's never the one reaching out to see more of Leah. Apparently, deadbeat Amber only saw Leah like twice the entire summer break. Was it not just the last season's reunion special where Amber was sitting up on the stage crying crocodile tears about how Gary does not let her see enough of Boo Boo? I want to see Boo Boo. You never let me. And then when Gary kept reiterating the fact that he did always have an open door policy with her, but that it was her who would literally skip her days or just not communicate in any which way about wanting to go and do something with them. And then when Amber noticed that he was not going to back down and he probably was going to pull receipts on her ass, she stormed off stage, you know, still shedding them little crocodile tears. To wrap up that scene, Gary says that the only reason Matt is probably still trying to get back with Amber is because he's using her for money, and like a good scammer does, he is not giving up his cash cow until it is bled dry. Now we're back with Catelynn and Tyler, but this time they're in North Carolina driving around as Catelynn says that she feels really frustrated about the fact that she is, you know, being punished, or so she perceives, because her kid is asking questions about her. And I was like, you know, the way you said my kid was a little too strong and shady for my taste. And Tyler was like, you know what? If Brandon and Theresa say the visits are detrimental to Carly, I would agree and step aside. I thought that was a really mature thing for him to say and a really selfless thing for him to say. But whether or not it's true remains to be seen based on the way, you know, these two seem to speak about Brandon and Theresa. They speak about them like they're, you know, long-term babysitters or something who owe them their child, quote unquote, their child back. Shortly thereafter, Theresa texts Catelynn with more possible dates, which they greatly appreciate because it helps them navigate their schedules and everything. And we're transported over into Farrah's world, where her dad, Michael, wants to propose to his girlfriend, Amy. And so he takes Farrah and Sophia with him ring shopping. I really love that Farrah's found a stepmom that she can love like a real mom. Her relationship with Amy seems to be incredibly healthy, and Farrah advises her dad, Michael, to propose to Amy with a 3-stone ring. You know, normally people go, you know, past, present, and future with you, but Farrah was like, no, this is for third time's a charm. Like, I guess this is the third marriage between the two of them or something like that. And Michael's like, I don't know that I want to bring up past relationships in a proposal or like a ring or anything like that. Farrah's like, well, if it gets me 3 diamonds, I'm down for it. And I just laughed. I'm personally not a huge fan of like multiple diamonds. I'm more of like a solitaire, no halo, simple kind of gal when it comes to rings. After ring shopping, Farrah goes to the spa with Amy and Sophia, and Amy says that she wants to run on home after getting her toes done and leave Sophia and Farrah to continue on at the spa. And so Farrah's like, why? What are you up to? Where are we going? She was a total stage 5 clinger. It was so cute because she would never be like that with Deb. She'd be like, bye, deuces. And so Amy's like, well, you know, we got the house to ourselves for the first time. You're not home. Sophia's not home. Farrah seems to still not be getting it. She's like, just your dad and I. And I wanted to jump out there and be like, she's banging your dad. She's banging him all over the house. All over. Back in Chattanooga again, Bentley attends his first day of 3rd grade. It's crazy that we've been following them that long, you guys, like crazy. And he tried to lie to his mom, Maci, about not having homework. Apparently, Ryan never reached out to Maci about seeing Bentley's first day of school and still hasn't responded to the drug screening. And she also now only refers to Ryan as Bentley's biological father. And, you know, I just feel like now is not the time to be kicking him while he's down. Like, she had all these years to refer to him that way, but now that like it's out that he's got a drug addiction and stuff and that he really is mentally suffering from it, it's not exactly the time to be, you know, throwing around these kinds of terms about him. I just felt she's starting to go into the petty route. Amber actually goes to see Leah for her first day of school, which is a total miracle, might I say. Christina got Leah all done up and cute, and she and Gary made a joke about whether or not Amber is even awake, and I died. Gary calls up Amber just to confirm that she's awake, and she's driving, and there is a lot of intense sunlight coming towards her face, and she tells him about it. And so Gary and Christina joke about how she's probably not used to sunlight, probably just more used to the moon, and I live for these two sometimes. They can be really, really damn funny. While Leah's away for school, Christina talks about how much she misses her and her other child, and Gary reminds her that they've got a backyard full of spite animals that love her. Now, Catelynn and Tyler, I'm sorry you guys, they're only just arriving in North Carolina. I thought they did earlier. They talk about how they wouldn't have Nova if they hadn't placed Carly for adoption, and how they couldn't have parented at 16 years old. And Tyler lets it slip that he doesn't care about his relationship with Brandon and Theresa, and that it's not on his priority list. Again, these people are really going to regret the shitty way they speak about, you know, such selfless people. Again, in Texas, Farrah wants to FaceTime her mom, Deborah, and Sophia doesn't want any parts of it. Absolutely sad what she's done there. They invite Deborah to Italy, and she's of course ecstatic to even be acknowledged, you know, let alone on screen, and to get to go to a trip. So after that, Farrah heads over to her furniture store and tells her dad, Michael, that she wants to help him propose to his girlfriend, Amy. I can't put into words how great Farrah has been this season. Like, it's so sweet to watch. And like, just, you know, it's crazy. Like, is this the same girl? Like, what's going on? I feel like she got a lobotomy or something. She's doing so well. Like, these scenes with her dad and stuff, especially because she was especially nasty to him. Remember? Michael. I'm so happy to see where she is right now. So they talk about planning the proposal and everything, and how much she wants to help, and how, you know, kind of hurt she was that she wasn't involved in the proposal, you know, between her mother and Dr. David. And then she tentatively invites, you know, her dad Michael and the girlfriend Amy over to Italy with her and Deborah as well, but not like together. She wanted to have him like in a separate place, and like whenever she would see them, be like, hey, I'm going to see friends. Like, just, you know, what her mom doesn't know won't hurt her. And I, you know, was like, that's a really mature decision. She wants to see both of her parents in this beautiful country, so why not just do it like the cleanest way possible, which, you know, her suggestion was. And might I add that her furniture store is gorgeous. There are a lot of really beautiful pieces there. Over in the next scene, Mackenzie picks out her wedding dress, and it is exactly as glittery as you would expect it to be. And so she and her weave return home to tell Ryan about the experience, and we see her son for the first time. He looks like a kid from Little Rascals to me. Like, I used to live for that movie. I watched Little Rascals like every day, 10 times a day. I lived for it. He's a really cute boy, that little Hudson. I wonder what's going on with her and the baby daddy for him to suddenly be allowed to film for the show. Ryan claims that Maci's been really rude and ignoring him when he said he wanted to go to court because, and that he's going to keep fighting because the only person really being hurt in all of this is Bentley. Now, in one of our final scenes of the episode, Amber and her friend are driving down the street when a cop who watches the show starts tailgating them, and they start complaining about it and wondering what's going on. And then the cop pulls up beside them while they're driving down the street. And she's like on her phone, and then she pulls it up to take a photo of Amber, and it was just, oh my God, thank God they blurred her face, because I'm sure that ass would have gotten fired. So after that little fiasco, Amber and her friend arrive at the nail salon. Where else? And she talks about how bad she's felt being off of her meds, and about her plans to go see Matt in Vegas and find out if there's anything still there between the two of them. And she talks about how she's just tired of having to take care of him. And Amber, as a 20-something-year-old, you should not have to take care of like a 50-something-year-old. That's just common sense. You know, like if you're gonna date that old, you better be living a good ass life, is all I'm gonna say. And she's like, I wanna be the one taken care of. And just this entire time, it's so confusing that she would waste this time away from her daughter, considering this is around the time that she started dating the guy, you know, she met in marriage boot camp. So what's really going on here? And in the final scene of the episode, Tyler and Catelynn are just sitting around anxious about when they're going to hear about their time to see their daughter Carly, how she's going to react to them. They talk about how she's always shy around them and this, that, and the other. And I'm just kind of sitting here like, and maybe this is obtuse of me, it probably is, you know, these two are awfully nervous for people who claim that this child runs up to them calling them daddy, you know, like I just don't really it really makes me wonder the kinds of things that they claim that Carly says about them is all. Anyway, that's a recap for the 7th episode of this season of Teen Mom OG. What did you think about everything? Make sure to leave all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And as usual, we'll chat. You can also like this video, subscribe for more. Feel free to share it with your friends as well. And follow me across social media, where I absolutely love chatting with you. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.